Hello world, thanks again for watching. Justin Tucker here, and we're going to go over the line item types, custom line item types, and continue on this video tutorial series. In the previous video we talked about product types and just made the shell of product types. I thought this would be a good point to mention that when we start to add fields into the product types, this is going to speak more to, I'm just going to write this out, product variations that admin fills out. So an example of that is going to be shirt size and shirt color. This will be something that admin can fill out, or IEU, that will create the experience for the user to select their shirt. So essentially what this will produce is two drop downs, and we've seen this obviously on Amazon and other websites. You choose your shirt size, and then you can choose your shirt color, and that dials it in. That's what you add to cart. But essentially what the fields you add here in the product type, the point I'm trying to make is the fields you add in here become these types of options for the user when they're engaging with your cart. Okay? What we're going to go over now and add and get into the idea of is the line item types. So the difference between adding fields here to product types and those fields, depending on how you configure them, again, that's not just a blanket rule, but that's usually what you use those fields for. The primary difference here is that you're going to be engaging with those fields that we add here so that these are produced for the user. Okay. In line item types, so you get there by going to store, configuration, line item types, and if we just click on line item types, we have one default for product. And if we look at the fields, you can see that these are things like quantity and unit price and things of that nature. And if you really think about it, this field is actually the one field that a user can engage with, the quantity. They can change the value of that. Now, that is a little different. They can also, if given the option of shirt size and shirt color, they can change the value of that as well. But the line item type is going to be items that we add in addition to the quantity field that we want them to fill out, like first name, last name, email, basically all the information we want to collect when they buy a registration ticket to our convention or conference or event. And so line items are going to represent, so these are product type fields. Okay, represent stuff you're going to fill out as an admin that produce options for the user. And line item type fields are going to represent new fields to engage with on any level needed. Well, I don't know if that's accurate. I'm just going to leave it with that, new fields to engage with. A text field of first name is an obvious one. A text field of last name is the other obvious one. A email field of email, and all those other things will make them required so that they have to fill it out on these line item types when they're selecting things. And you can combine these two ideas to where, okay, you have to, let's say you're selling a t-shirt where you have to select size and color, but you give them an open-ended text field of let's say name to print on t-shirt. Okay, let's say it's an embroidery service, right? And it's just a text field. So you can combine these two ideas where I can say I would like a large red t-shirt with Justin printed on it, and then when this product gets added to the cart, I understand that he wants this size, this color, and this is what he wants printed on it. So this idea is really the key to the registration portion because of the different information you have to collect on a per ticket basis, and that's kind of the idea that's going to drive this. So this is where line items come into play, is that it will provide new fields to engage with, and this is probably the other thing I need to say, that become part of the order. So that when you go and look at this order and how it got filled out, you're going to see the values of all of these fields that you add, even the custom ones that we're going to need. So that is the role of a line item, and that's where they're going to come into play. So going into configuration, line item types, let's add a new line item type, one most certainly for registration once again. I'm also at this point going to make one for shirts and meals. And, you know, kind of as a rule, it doesn't hurt. It's not necessarily law, but it doesn't hurt to match line items with your product types. Oh, and membership, for sure. Now, this may be overkill, meaning this many product types and this many line item types. We might be able to have some field sharing going on to make this more efficient. But again, kind of like the speakers, sponsors, and vendors, I think I'm going to keep these as separate entities just so that if you do download this, you'll have the infrastructure, again, already in place to expand on any one of these elements into a custom way as needed versus, you know, be forced to use the shared fields. So, okay, so here's our product types, and we kind of have some line item types that match in terms of name. These are going to be very, very different in terms of how they're used, meaning the product type fields are going to be very different than the line item type fields. We'll get into that, but the goal of this particular video is to get your line item types created and to also kind of understand what those are going to be there for. So I think that's going to be it for this video. If you like these, please subscribe. If you've got any comments, please reach out. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.